What's going on? Today we're going to be reviewing 3 more Iron Man Marvel Legends. I did the last one in more of a YouTube format. I'm going to try these out in more of a, video format while still being in like the TikTok resolutions. You guys can see this full screen, but up first, I think we're going to try out the Silver Centurion Iron Man and move our way to the War Machine and then finally end off at the Hulkbuster. Alright guys, I don't know how to feel about him, but Silver Centurion Iron Man. I've always loved the red and silver, especially on the suitcase suit from Iron Man 2, but the Silver Centurion's always been weird. From either West Coast Avengers or some of the games he's been in, he's always looked a little silly. He's never really looked super threatening. He's always had that like, oh, this is just my other suit that Tony just never wants to talk about. But let me get him out of the packaging, but let's look at the back real quick. Look at the side. And the figure in the box, I always love these displays from Marvel Legends. The box is real beat up. I got them for like 10 bucks at a convention. So I can't wait to get this guy open. And here he is. The Silver Centurion Iron Man. And oh my god, this guy looks great. I was expecting to not like this guy as much, just because I really don't like the design that much of the outfit, but he's really cool. I mean, he has some pretty good articulation, but okay, I'll get into that in a little bit. Let me show you his accessories. So up first, of course, he comes with some fisted hands. Here's a much closer look at the head sculpt, which is actually really cool. Almost looks like you're looking inside the helmet to see him beneath, but he doesn't have any pupils, so it looks kind of creepy to be honest. Here are some blast effects. He comes with kind of the standard ones, but I'm telling you right now, the accessories on this guy is actually kind of insane for the $25 that you would normally pay, or even the cheaper that I paid. And here are the boot trails that he kind of has, which also look really good, but I think there's an effect that meant to be attached to them, like when he's first taking off, and let me show you those. And these are what I'm talking about. They attach to the boot trails, and I believe they can also attach to these repulsors to show like a massive energy coming out of whatever he's shooting from, which automatically makes this figure way better in my opinion. And here's what that looks like up close, which looks super cool, man. I'm glad they allow you to put like whichever ones you want on like either the feet or the hands, so you can actually have like that huge energy effect. You can almost put that like against Cap's shield if you want to recreate that Civil War look. So this looks insanely cool. Now we're gonna take a look at his articulation. His head can do a full 360 as his neck and his head are like on the same ball joint, so he actually has a lot of range. He can look up a decent amount, he can look down a little bit, but I mean it's pretty good overall for what I thought the head was gonna be. The arms can spin a full 360. They have a double joint at the elbows, a wrist hinge, only on these hands by the way. And they don't go that far, especially with this arm guard, but they also go up that far on both sides. And his ab crunch is pretty good too. He goes forward about that much, he goes backward about that much, which is actually perfect for an Iron Man. A little bit of a waist swivel. His legs kick up about that far, and his kickback is non-existent as the other Iron Man figures, but his total knee joint goes down that far, which is really good. His feet pivot super far back, and they tilt super far forward. Let me straighten it out so it looks a little bit better. Wait, come on. But yeah, and then they actually have a rocker, so they can pivot back and forward. So overall, this is a really articulated Iron Man. I know the Mezco just released their Silver Centurion not too long ago, but I think this guy's a really good replacement if you don't want that. And up next, boom, looking for this. The Endgame War Machine has been a figure that I've been chasing for quite a bit. I've always wanted a good War Machine, so to finally have the Endgame one so I can go with that Endgame Iron Man I just picked up, this is going to be awesome. And here he is, the Endgame War Machine. And dude, this guy has so much like presence. He's massive compared to everybody else. Like even next to the Iron Man, he's like almost towering over him. So it's really cool to have like an actually sized up War Machine. And if you want to see him next to the Endgame Iron Man, here he is. So he looks pretty in scale there. But overall, I have 2 main issues with this guy. 1, his articulation's kind of bad. 2, his accessories are really bad. But also like, he has the ones he needs. He has the 2 different guns that go on his wrist, and he has the turret. So he comes with what he needs, and he doesn't ever really, like, if you look at the movie, he doesn't really open his hands. He doesn't really do, like, too much, like, articulation-wise. Like, he doesn't move a lot. He just goes around shooting stuff, and he never uses his hand repulsors either. So, but, I mean, I would have loved some blast effects for his feet, so it's feel like he's flying, because I know he does use, like, his backpack, too, but I mean, he's pretty cool so far, so I'm excited. So as a quick demonstration, his shoulder pads are soft material. That doesn't stop the fact that they basically run into everything all the time. It allows this hand to go up a decent amount, so I think this is about as far as I can push the arm to go up, which is acceptable, especially for how big the figure is. But this arm literally is stuck like at a little angle without pushing out the turret. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, so you just want to leave it like down the whole time so the turret doesn't get notched off every time you want to lift his arm up. But alright, I'm not even trying to put that back in because that's also a pain. But I mean, he looks good even without the turret. It's just, you know, like, it's so cool to be able to store all your accessories on the figure without having to like switch which ones you have on and which ones you have off. So I mean, the fact that he's able to store all his accessories is cool, but it doesn't help that he only has 3 actual accessories. And the articulation is alright. Like, he kicks up that far, of course, very little kickback, surprisingly more than like most of the Iron Man. So he has, I think, double jointed knees, so those go far, but his elbows are single jointed. They're like one smooth thing. Like, that's as far as his elbows go, which is wild. What do you mean his elbows don't go farther than that? He has no actual butterfly joint, or no, he doesn't. But I mean, like, he's not meant to be articulated, I get that, and his ab crunch is like non-existent. That's forward, that's back. So, and his head doesn't even look up like far enough to get into an actual like flight pose, but he can't just like kind of shoot people down. Like, he can't like fly like Iron Man can. He'd be like tilted like that. He looks really cool. He is not the perfect war machine I want though. And here's combining for both the Silver Centurion Iron Man's repulsors and the Midnight Suns Iron Man's repulsors from the last video. So here he is. Here's his repulsors being used here, and this looks really cool, but I have to use a bunch of effects to make them actually look pretty cool without noticing the fact that his elbows are actually on a ball joint. Not even, or like, they can rotate basically. They're on a swivel. So it works out overall, but let's get on to the next figure. Okay, y'all, I actually figured out I'm running out of time here on this video, so I'm going to record a part 2. You'll see it's going to be uploaded around the same time as this one is, so as soon as you see these two get uploaded, this guy's next. Part 2, baby. And sorry, boys, but the big one's here now. Okay, so this box barely even fits like where I have my camera at, but oh my god. I've been so excited. I got this guy at retail at GameStop, but I didn't get this guy on release. I pre-ordered him, canceled it, because I was like, you know what, I'll find something else. And then I watched a few reviews, they're like, oh, this is the best Hulkbuster ever. I was like, damn it, alright, gotta find him somewhere. So, found him at GameStop, and oh man, this guy looks insane. The side art is awesome. I still need to get this Iron Man figure of the Extremis armor. Gives you a whole, you know, little story detail, but you know, it's called the Hulkbuster for a reason, man. I feel like you could piece it together. But honestly, I'm too excited. Let me get this guy out the box. If you've watched any of my Sonic videos, you know how much I hate goddamn twist time. Alright, y'all, here he is, the Hulkbuster. And if you noticed, I don't have everything on him quite yet. I'm gonna go over the base of the figure. If you notice, he comes with like a bunch of unarmored areas, and you don't swap these off. You just put the armor onto these, which is really cool, to be honest. But you can see all the detail, like the little silver work in his thighs, and there's so much little detail in this. Honestly, I wish this whole under area was painted. But if we're being honest here, I'm not posing this guy without the full armor on. So I'm glad the parts that are gonna be visible are painted. But I mean, he has a super heavy feel to him, which feels great. I'm glad that they really went all out with this guy. He comes with a bunch of different accessories, so let's get right into that. Up first is this Tony Stark head, which honestly looks great, and I'll test in a little bit if he can be head swapped onto other Iron Man armors. So if you notice, it's going to have to be a red Iron Man armor because he does have that back plate, but we'll see how it looks on other stuff. And here he is with the full chest piece on, which makes him even bigger than normal. So this guy is absolutely massive. He's extremely large compared to even other figures. And once I get him fully armored, I'll show you some size comparisons. Alright guys, here's the fully armored Hulkbuster with both the turbines in the back. And I must say, after messing around with this guy for a little bit, this guy has insane posability. Like, much better than I thought he was going to be. I was kind of expecting kind of really like restricted articulation, but no, this guy has like almost the same articulation as some other Marvel Legends. The only like problem I would say is like his elbows and knees are like single jointed, and even then, like, look, I'm getting a good amount of range out of that. I don't need the Hulkbuster like scratching all the way up to where his like forearms aligned with his bicep. But I mean, he has great articulation. Both the hands have hinges, so they can go out or go in a little bit. But because of this arm guard, it doesn't really go out too much. But I mean, his waist goes all the way around. I'm just like not really pushing it that much because I don't want to mess up the figure. One thing I will say, this damn chest piece keeps popping off. So that's the only like real annoying part. But I mean, his head swivels all the way around. Of course, no actual head articulation there. Kind of what you expect from the Hulkbuster. But I mean, his legs kick all the way up. They like kick a good fair bit up. The knees bend down 90 degrees. His foot goes off very far, and it goes up a little bit because this is soft plastic, and then it can also pivot. And the bottoms are even detailed too. Like, this guy is really good. I was not expecting this well made of a figure, and his arms go all the way up. That's insane. This guy has so much range because these are also soft too. So he feels just super sturdy. Like, he could for sure hold up a whole other figure in his hand. But let me get a quick size comparison to show you guys how much bigger this guy is. Okay, so a little size comparison. Here's Endgame Iron Man. There's Endgame War Machine, so it's like a decent little height difference. And then you have the Hulkbuster. These guys are nothing to the Hulkbuster. The dude's easily twice their size. I bet he's like close to being around 10 inches tall. So he absolutely towers over these guys, which is perfect. Also, before you even try to put the Tony head on one of these guys, it's like way out of scale. His head is way bigger than like any of the other Iron Man heads. So only use it on the Hulkbuster. I also think the peg is way bigger on the Hulkbuster. So yeah. Alright, y'all. And that concludes my Iron Man haul. These are all the Iron Man figures I have for right now, so I'm glad I got to get this like good assortment of them. I'm glad I got to get all these different colored armors and stuff. So definitely my two favorites might be the Silver Centurion and I forget what model that is, the Model 9 I think, but also the Hulkbuster is awesome. So my least favorite for sure is that Midnight Suns one. Do not pick them up unless you want red energy effects for War Machine. That figure is not good. Just a heavy recommendation, don't pick them up. I honestly think this guy is a better Iron Man than that guy. Because I figured out this guy actually has a really good neck hinge, and I just didn't look in the video, so I'm not that good. Sorry, but there we go. That's my whole Iron Man lineup. Hope you all enjoyed. If you guys want to see more videos like this, let me know. I'll catch you all around. Peace.